Hey everyone, have you ever felt like you're on that financial treadmill, working hard, but never quite getting ahead?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're diving into The Latte Factor today. It's a book that challenges us to look at money and finances, well, a little differently. We'll be pulling out some of the best parts and talking about how the way we see things, like our perspective, really shapes our financial lives.
Right. And this story follows a young woman, Zoe, living in Brooklyn. She's an associate editor for a travel magazine. Can you imagine?
Sounds like a dream job, right?
Yeah.
Surrounded by all those beautiful pictures of far off places.
You would think. But here's the thing. Zoe's actually struggling. She's got student loan debt, can't even afford a weekend getaway, let alone a fancy vacation.
It's something a lot of people can relate to, right? Feeling stuck with all those financial obligations.
Yeah, that whole living paycheck to paycheck situation. And what's really interesting is that her job, the one with all the travel inspiration, is actually part of the problem.
Kind of ironic, isn't it? She's putting together these amazing experiences for other people, but can't experience them herself. So how does she, start to change things?
Oh, it all begins with something that happens at her local coffee shop.
Oh, this is where it gets good.
So there's this amazing photograph at the shop. It's a picture of this peaceful seaside village at dawn, simply titled, yes, the price tag, $1,200.
Wow.
And of course, Zoe's immediate thought is, no way, I can't afford that. It's that automatic reaction, when we see something we want but think is totally out of reach.
I've been there.
Now, here comes Henry, the barista. He overhears her and says something that completely changes everything. He's like, if you can afford that latte, you can afford this photograph.
Whoa, that's powerful. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. He's not saying you should never enjoy a latte. It's about those little everyday choices and how they add up over time.
So he's saying maybe those lattes could be redirected towards something bigger, something more meaningful.
Exactly. He introduces this idea of the oculus, which has two meanings here.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, you know that incredible building at the World Trade Center?
Yeah.
That's one meaning. But it's also a term in photography. It's all about the photographer's viewpoint, like the lens they're using to see the world. He's saying we all have a financial oculus too. It's the way we look at money, and it affects all of our choices.
Like we're all taking pictures of our financial lives, focusing on some things and ignoring others.
Precisely. So what does Zoe's financial oculus show her? Is she seeing limitations or possibilities? What do you think?
It really makes you stop and think about your own situation, doesn't it?
It does. And Henry pushes her even further, asks her this big question. What does the landscape of your life actually look like? It forces her to face her reality and think about whether she's happy with where she is.
I love how it gets her thinking.
Me too. And then, this is interesting, she starts having these crazy dreams about being stuck on a runaway treadmill. She's running as fast as she can, her heart's racing, but she's not going anywhere.
I think we've all felt that way sometimes, right? Putting in so much effort, but not seeing any real progress.
It's like being stuck in a cycle, maybe of debt, maybe of overwork, or just feeling unfulfilled. Then, to make things even more interesting, Zoe gets a job offer.
Ooh, tell me more.
It's a higher paying job at an agency, but it would mean working even more hours. It's that classic dilemma. Money or a less stressful life.
A tough choice.
Ah.
And I bet her parents have some thoughts on the matter, right?
Oh, absolutely. Her mom gives her the classic, money won't buy happiness advice, but her dad seems to think she should go for it, climb that ladder.
Classic, right? The age-old debate. So, what will Zoe choose? And how will that Oculus idea play into her decision? We'll have to wait and see.
So Zoe's got a lot on her mind now. That job offer, her parents' advice, and then there's Henry, and his Oculus thing really got her thinking.
It's like she's at a crossroads, right?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what really matters. And guess what? She finds herself back at Helena's coffee the next morning.
But it's not just about the coffee, is it?
I don't think so. Remember that photograph, that beautiful seaside village? It's still there, and Zoe's just drawn to it.
It's like it represents something she really wants, a life that seems exciting and peaceful, but maybe out of reach.
Totally. She looked at it, pictures herself walking those little streets, feeling the sun and the breeze.
Sounds lovely.
But then she sees that price tag again, $1,200. And that voice pops into her head, that I can't afford it voice.
It's like it's on autopilot, right? Whenever she thinks about something that seems a little too expensive.
Definitely. And just then, Henry shows up, almost like he knew what she was thinking.
He confirms the picture was taken in Mykonos, and he asks Zoe why she likes it so much. What do you think she says?
Well, she's honest with him. She tells him she'd love to experience that place, get away from the city and all the stress. But she immediately says it's just a dream, not something she could ever actually do.
And then Henry says it, that line that just makes you stop and think. He says, if you can afford that latte, you can afford this photograph.
Every time I hear that, it blows my mind. It's like he's showing her a totally different way to look at money.
Exactly. He's not saying she has to give up everything. It's about realizing that those small expenses, those lattes, they can add up to something big if you use them differently.
Like if you took that $5 latte and put it towards a trip every day, that's almost $2,000 in a year.
Think about what you could do with that. Maybe even a trip to a seaside village.
It really makes you realize maybe we all have more than we think we do.
More than just money, right? More possibilities.
Exactly. And Henry brings up the Oculus idea again, but this time he's talking about how photographers use it, choosing their viewpoint, deciding where they want to stand to get the best picture.
He wants her to see the whole picture of her life, what she wants it to look like.
It gets even more intense. He actually draws a tombstone in his notebook with Zoe's name on it.
Oh, wow. He's really trying to get her attention. It's a powerful way to make her think about what she wants her life to be about.
You can tell she's really affected by it, kind of shaken up.
It's making her face some hard truths, right? About her life and whether she's really happy.
All those anxieties she's been pushing down are coming up. And that night, she has this intense dream.
Oh no, what kind of dream?
She's on this treadmill, and it keeps getting faster and faster. She can't slow it down.
I hate those dreams.
She's running so hard, but she's not getting anywhere.
That's such a classic anxiety dream, isn't it? It's like that feeling of being trapped, like you're stuck in a situation you can't get out of.
Totally. And in Zoe's case, it's not just about money.
Right, it's about her whole life, right? Like there's something missing.
And it's not like she doesn't have love or friends.
It's something else, like she's not really living her life,
Man, that treadmill dream, that's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It's like her mind is telling her to make a change.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not just about getting off the financial treadmill. It's about finding something like truly fulfilling. Remember, she has that job offer. More money, but probably even longer hours.
It's like choosing between two treadmills, right? One just goes a little faster.
Exactly. So how does she get off completely? What's the answer?
That's the big question, right?
Well, here's where that photograph, it becomes more than just a picture.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
It's like it represents the life she wants, that freedom, the adventure, and financial security too. That title, yes, it's like a reminder that she can create that life.
And the photo has a price tag, right?
Yeah.
It's a real goal, something she could actually achieve. If she changed her mindset, started making different choices.
That's where Henry's latte thing comes back in. He's not saying never have coffee again. He's just showing her how those small expenses, they add up. And if you redirect them, you can do amazing things.
This is so important for everyone listening, right? We all have our lattes, those expenses we don't even think about, but they add up. What are yours?
Think about those subscriptions you never use, those impulse buys that just sit around, or even those daily takeout lunches.
You could be making your own food, saving so much money. It's not about never treating yourself. It's about making choices that match what you really care about.
And remember, Henry's not just some random barista, he's a financial advisor. So he actually helps Zoe make a budget, one that works for her, so she can save for those dreams without feeling like she's missing out.
That's huge. Anyone feeling stuck, this is for you. It's not about magically getting more money. It's about knowing where your money goes and making changes that work for you.
It's about taking charge,
Yeah.
Instead of letting money control you, and realizing that even small changes, they can make a huge difference over time.
I love that. What I really love about this whole Oculus thing is that it gives you the power to choose how you see things. If you're focused on what you don't have, the debt, the limitations, you'll feel trapped. But if you shift your focus, start saving even a little, you can see what's possible.
So true. It's all about perspective.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Latte Factor, let's think about our own ideal financial landscape. What does it look like? What small changes can we make today to get there?
Maybe it's packing lunch a few times a week, canceling that subscription you never use, or putting aside a little each week for that trip you've always dreamed of.
Remember, you might be richer than you think, not just with money, but with all the potential you have. So change your perspective, make those choices, take charge of your finances, and create a life that says yes.